Laura Jane.
Yes.
Are you ready?
Yes.
I think you are. I just have this feeling about you.
Well, my butt cheeks are clenched in anticipation of
Butt
this
cheeks
interview.
are clenched and ready to go. Welcome back to Songwriters Showcase. My name is TJ Moss. Today I am joined by Laura Jane of the Tighten Ups. Hi, Laura. How are you?
Well, I'm fabulous, TJ. Thank you for asking.
Well, it's good to have you here. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? How did you get involved in music?
I was born in Royal Oak, Michigan, just outside of Detroit. Apparently was musical from the very get-go. My grandfather on my mom's side was an Episcopalian priest, so there was a lot of church singing in my life. And then my grandparents on my dad's side of the family were competitive barbershop quartetters.
Wow.
So there was a bit of music in my life, and I just started singing and putting on little shows for my grandparents when I was a little girl.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Competitive barbershop quartet.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. They did it as a hobby,
Yeah.
and they went all over the world singing, in these competitions. Sweet Adelines is the women's one, and then the barbershop quartet competitions. And
wow.
It was quite amazing to watch as a little kid.
That's some of the coolest music. Like that, those harmonies are just like, I'm a huge fan of harmony. And like, that's my background as well. I grew up singing in church as well. Like it's something that like never leaves you, It's such a formidable time in your life when you're like coming up and you're kind of coming into yourself. So you obviously have this enormous voice. Like, when did you discover that you had that voice? Because a lot of people, it takes them a long time to figure out that this voice that's been inside me all along. When did you find that?
When I was about 9 years old, we moved to the country.
Okay.
And I was in a very small school. But we had choir, starting in 5th grade, 6th grade, oral lessons. And I started getting chosen for solos. And I was a cheerleader in 7th grade. So that's a loud job.
Yeah.
You got to do a lot of yelling. Mm-hmm. But I always pursued any kind of leadership role that would get me in front of an audience, theater stuff. And I was a theater major in college.
We have a lot in common.
Always, being the organizer too.
Did you ever do musical theater?
Yes,
I can see that. You got a belter.
I did. I was never a lead. I was always a chorus girl. Okay. I did love it.
Yeah. Okay. So what brought you out here? How long have you been in San Diego?
2001, I moved here. Okay. My best friend moved here in 1989. It was kind of a gateway drug for me. I kept coming out on vacation, and I had a really great job in Traverse City, Michigan, entertaining full time, but the place closed.
Okay.
And it was in kind of a smaller town, and I tried to stay, but I'm like, I need to get to a bigger audience. I need a bigger pond for this fish to swim in. San Diego seemed perfect. No shoveling. I knew one actress. That was my only showbiz connection.
Okay.
From there, I just volunteered for everything I could to try to get a name. I do other things too. I DJ and I do comedy and I write poetry and I MC festivals and things like that. So I just volunteered until I started getting toehold into different realms. And I still like to, I call it spray and pray.
Spray and pray, baby.
Do a little bit of everything and hope something sticks.
Yeah. And people just like, if people like to work with you, then they're going to keep asking you back.
Yeah. So I knew I wanted to be in a band when I moved here. I tried to start a band. I made every classic mistake, hiring everyone that auditioned. It was not good. I didn't have enough of a vision, so I quit that. I went into a duo. I went into a jazz band, and then I did jazz for so long, and I was like, I need to rock. I need to rock. So I started hunting musicians, and actually one of the bartenders at the Casbah said to me, well, if you ever need a drummer, I'm the best drummer in town. He gave me his card. And I said, well, if you ever need a singer, I'm the best singer in town. Here's my card.
And that's your drummer to this day?
Not to this day, but that was our original drummer for the Tighten Ups. We've gone through a few drummers and we've gone through a couple guitar players, but now we have Joey Harris from the Beat Farmers and Joey Harris and the Mentals, and he's our only guitar player. So if he can't do the job, we're not doing it. Original members, Jerry Wasson our bass player, and Topher Williams, our tenor sax. The three of us are the OGs.
And then it kind
we
of
have
builds out
right.
from there.
So we have trombone, baritone sax, the great Johnny View on baritone sax, various trombone players, various drummers, but the bass guitar, tenor sax, and myself are almost always at every show.
Okay. And you've played, obviously, the Belly Up.
Yeah.
You don't get there by accident.
That was amazing.
Big show.
My husband is the bass player for the Paladins.
Okay.
And they asked us to be the opening band.
Wow.
So we had played there opening up for a few other bands as well. But that showcase was so important to me because I really wanted to impress my husband's fans.
Yeah.
And, so we went all out and got a video made of it.
Yeah.
The great
video.
Clint Burkett. I love playing there. It's the attention to the sound from the crew and the lights, and the room is just so finely tuned. Mm-hmm. It's just beautiful. So I love playing there, and everyone's so nice, and I can have a big merch display, and I love it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've talked to a lot of serious touring musicians, and like, that's pretty much the best sound that I've ever played in. Like, it's one of the best venues in the country. Incredible place. So the Tighten Ups what's happening with y'all? What's going on? What's cooking?
Well, we've got a couple new songs that we're writing right now.
Okay.
That are in the process. I'm excited about originals. And we're also going to be rehearsing some new covers coming up next Tuesday. So I'm excited to add more material.
Well, let's talk about these originals. So what's your writing process like?
I'm always thinking with the horn section in mind when I'm writing for this band. What are the horns going to be doing? I want to showcase them. Everybody loves the horns. In addition to having a feeling about what I want to speak about, sing about, I also am thinking of the blessed horns.
Yeah.
And I write a lot when I'm driving, which is kind of frustrating because
what are you gonna do?
You're like, I gotta grab my phone and press play on the recorder but there's something about the rhythms of the road, and I have to travel up and down this county so often. There's just
there's like a flow state too, right?
Yeah, exactly. You're kind of tuned out from everything, and your brain can kind of wander. Same within the shower.
Same with me, big time. And then you're like, "Where's my phone?" And
you're all wet. Yeah. You're just like, "Okay, I gotta sing this over and over again until I get out of the shower."
The plight of songwriters.
Sometimes it's just words. I'll start with words, and sometimes I'll start with music.
But cool to have that that focus of like, okay, I have a band that features a horn section, and I'm with you. Like, my very first band had a horn section. Like, there's nothing like
What was
horns.
your first band?
My name was TJ Moss Band.
Okay.
Which, I was in New York, and I was just a young singer-songwriter, just trying to get out there. And I put a band together, and we had like 3 horns. But the thing is like, it changed the way that I wrote music, and it obviously like brings so much life to the music. Like, a song that has horns it's just different. It pops, right? It's just something about it that's so, I guess it's all that air that's coming through. Like, it's just breathes life into the song.
And together, and I forgot to mention my trumpet player, so I'm sorry about that, Jeff Blanco. Just knowing those tones, like a guitar, you've got multiple notes, right? You can do chords. Piano, you can do chords. If you have the horns, you have chords, you know?
Totally.
And it's so like, it can add so much punch.
Yeah.
It's almost percussive, so that you can put that in there. And
so you kind of have like the ghost of the horns in your head when you're writing. Like,
yes. Yeah. And unfortunately, I'm not very proficient at charting anything out. So I'm a hummer,
Sure.
So my poor horns have to really lower Jane. Yes, really. Like, I can kind of pluck it out on a guitar or a piano enough to know what the note is, so we can figure out the key really easily. Usually when I get the baby idea in my head, then I go to Joey Harris, the guitarist, and we work together through the music part of it. Always, every member of my band contributes something to the song. And I try to be really open to all that unless I can't be.
Sure.
Like,
so
I'm like,
give me an example of that. You just feel it in your gut. Like, that's not the direction.
Well, when I hear something in my head that it's so integral to the song in my head that no, we can't cut that out.
Yeah.
We can't change that part. I'm willing to negotiate on this part
Sure.
or this part.
I know that feeling very well.
And
as
same
well.
with like tempo. A lot of that comes with rehearsal of the new song. Like you think it should be more laid back and mellow, but no.
Then you're in front of a crowd.
Turns out it needs to be faster.
That pitter patter, it's real.
Yeah.
You know, it's gonna be faster anyway.
Yeah.
You know, so you might as well get there. Tempos are really tricky because it's so much, it's in your body, right? And so like so much of what a tempo is required is in the moment, right? Like sometimes it does need a little bit of laid back, you know, sometimes, but for the most part with that kind of music, with horns and stuff.
Well, and you're
that stuff
trying
needs
to
move.
get butts moving on the dance floor.
Exactly.
For example, this song Mercy that we sing, originally we thought it was going to be like, I call for mercy, mercy. But no. It needs to be much faster because no one wants to dance to that.
Right.
You know,
Right.
oh, interpretive dancing.
Right.
You know, so it's got to be butt kicking.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yep. And
Yeah.
we try to only put 1 or 2 ballads in any set that
Sure.
the whole night. I mean,
Yeah.
we like to do 3 sets whenever we can. We have a residency at Poorhouse.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, it's a 3-hour show. So we do 3 sets.
Is that every week, every month?
Every month, usually the 3rd Saturday of the month.
Okay.
But coming up here, March 8th.
March 8th.
It's a Friday. We're going to do it then.
Okay. And this is Poorhouse at Oceanside?
Yeah, Poorhouse in Oceanside right on the Coast Highway.
Cool. That sounds like a dancing good time.
It is. They've got a pretty decent sized dance floor and
Do people get up and get shaken?
absolutely. Yeah. Because
I think that there's not enough of that in the world. So I think you're doing a service.
there is a certain crowd in San Diego that they're the gazers.
Mm-hmm.
They're crossing their hands, their
Wallflowers.
arms, and they're really into it. That's about as far as
Yeah.
they get, you know. So I like to watch people go bananas.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'll put some shades on and my alter ego will come out. I'll be all over that dance floor.
All right. Well,
All right.
you should come see my
All
band.
right. All right. So, Laura Jane, it's absolutely a pleasure to chat with you.
Well, thank you.
Let's tell the people a little bit more about the Tighten Ups and where we can find you and
Okay.
where we can know more about you.
Well, we play once a month at the Poorhouse in Oceanside.
Okay.
We do
POUR, the Poorhouse.
POUR
Yep.
house. You can find us on Instagram at the Tighten Ups, and Tighten is spelled Tighten. We named ourselves after the Archie Bell and the Drells song from 1968.
Oh yeah.
Tighten Up.
When I looked it up, that was what I saw.
And we play a great festival on June 1st at the Brooks Theater in Oceanside,
Oh, wonderful.
put on by Six String Society. And
We had Kenneth on our show.
oh,
not too
you
long
did?
ago. Yeah.
oh, excellent.
It's such a treat.
Yeah, it's a rockin' revival.
Wonderful.
So we're on the gig with Band of Gringos and the Farmers, Anthony Cullens.
oh, he's on the show as well.
All right.
It's a small world out here.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
that's what I love about San Diego. The bands are so cool and the
Yeah.
promoters are so cool and the venues are so cool and everybody's always trying to help each other. And so it's great. But we do private events too. You can hire us for that. Last year we played Adams Avenue Street Fair,
Sure.
which is always a thrill.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, the Tighten Ups, Laura Jane,
Yes.
it's such a pleasure. Thanks for coming on the show.
Lovely to meet you.
And we'll look out for you. And best of luck with all the writing.
All right. Thank you.
Take care.
Keep it tight.
You too.
All right.
See you next time.